Hey guys, I'm here with my very first Yankee Candle Centerpiece Melt Cup review. I purchased my very first centerpiece probably, I think last year. I want to say it was summer of 2015, I believe. Or maybe it was a little bit sooner than that. It was either spring or summer of 2015. I think is when I purchased my first centerpiece. And then I really enjoyed it, and I ended up buying another one I think a few months after that. So I think I bought one of them in like the spring and then another one in the summertime. So I have two altogether now. I have one in my living room, which is a bigger one on my fireplace mantle in the living room. And then I have another one, which is the one you're seeing now, the smaller one here in the bedroom. And I've been really happy with my centerpiece. They just give a really good scent for Yankee candles. As we know, or if you don't know, if you're new to Yankee Candle or the wax melts, Yankee Candle has been having some issues with their scent throws lately. Sometimes they're very hit and miss. Sometimes you can smell them. Sometimes, a lot of times, you can't. It's really hard to get a good throw with Yankee Candle. They're not as strong as they used to be as far as their candles go. So I was really curious to try the centerpiece to see how the melt cups go. I've had their tarts and their votives, and those are kind of, some are good and some are not so good. It just depends. They tend to not last a long time for me. Their tarts do. Sometimes they're really strong and then they just don't last but maybe a few hours. But the centerpiece melt cups, I'm very happy with them overall. So I don't normally do reviews of wax melts, but I decided to go ahead and do it. I've had some subscribers ask me to review some of my wax melts, but I never have. I've talked about them in our vlogs before, but I've never done like a single review of the melt cups. I've done a review on some of my votives I had of Yankee Candle and some of their new scents last year that they had out, but I have never done any other wax melt reviews. So I've noticed some other YouTubers have been doing some of the wax melt reviews of the new scents that are coming out, like from Walmart, the Better Homes and Gardens, Sensationals, and things like that. And I've really been enjoying watching those. So I figured I would go ahead and maybe do some reviews as well, because I really enjoy watching those. I think a lot of us are melting a little bit more now because we're getting really good throws with melting, and plus we're trying to cut down on all the soot that all our candles are causing. I definitely have that problem as well. I have a big old spot above my fireplace in the living room that I need to try to clean. I have a big spot in my bathroom where I don't know if it's the ceiling fan in there or the fan in the bathroom. I don't know if the airflow makes the soot go over towards above the shower, but above the shower I have a big old black spot where the soot is traveled. So I'm wanting to try to clean those up, and because of that, I'm trying to melt a little bit more than I normally did. That way I'm not burning candles constantly as much as I did. Not that I won't burn candles anymore, because I still will. I love candles, and I love the ambiance of a candle. I've just always loved candles, so I will still burn candles. So we will get on to this first melt cup review I have here. This is one of the new summer scents that just came out from Yankee. This one, I believe, came out within the last week or so. I just picked this one up a couple of days ago at the employee sale they had. It used to be called Friends and Family. Now they're calling it employee pricing sale, I believe. It used to be open you would have to be invited to it, but now I think they're sending out emails, but I think anybody can pretty much go, and I think they're just giving it to you. I don't know if you have to mention it or not, but she just gave it to me when I went in there, but I'm always in there anyway, so I don't know if you don't normally go in there, you'd have to mention to them, or if they would just automatically give it to you. But anyway, all their wax was 50% off, and that included the melt cups. It was everything except for the accessories. But anything, their candles and their wax melts and tarts and votives and this melt cups were all 50% off. So the melt cups were normally $4.99, so they were 50% off. That came to $2.49, I believe it was. So this one is Summer Storm, and I was really excited about this because I loved it on Cold Sniff, so I really was wanting to try it in the melt cup. So the description on Summer Storm reads, "Like a storm front moving through a forest, this scent tingles with the subtle freshness of eucalyptus, grounded with a hint of patchouli." So I get To me, this smells like it's got a kind of cologne scent to it. It has, I get a little bit of that patchouli in there, but it's not real strong on patchouli. When I smelled it on cold sniff, I thought I picked up a little bit more patchouli, but when I melted it, it's not real strong on patchouli. It's very light patchouli. It's not like their patchouli candle from Yankee. That one is like really strong patchouli, and just you definitely smell patchouli there. But this one, it's just got a hint of that in there. And as far as eucalyptus goes, I don't really get a big eucalyptus note in this either. If it is in there, it's very subtle as well, and it says subtle in the description. But it's maybe mixed in so well with that patchouli that they just very blend well together. But I can't really. Sometimes eucalyptus is very strong, and lots of times some certain candles will have eucalyptus, and I don't care for them. It can be very overpowering unless it's blended really well with another scent. And this one could be blended very well with that patchouli, but like I said, I don't pick out a strong patchouli either. It's very hard to pick out one of those two. It's just I get little subtle hints of both of those, so it's really hard to detect which one what I'm smelling the most of. It reminds me of like a really nice men's cologne, like that you would buy that would be fairly expensive. It has that kind of a scent to it, but it also has a little bit of, I would say, kind of like a amber, kind of like cedar wood kind of a scent to it as well, a little bit. Not super woodsy or anything either, but it has a little bit of that kind of a woodsy, amberish kind of scent to it, somewhat. Just slightly, though. It's really nice. I really like it. So I will talk about we'll talk about the throw next. Can't talk about the burn because there's no burn, of course. Melts fine. Turn it on. It probably pulls out with the centerpieces. It takes about, I want to say, 20 minutes or so to completely melt out, for the MeltCup to completely pull out. I say probably about 20 minutes, somewhere around there. But the strength on this scent here, I would probably say it's a little bit lighter. That's the only thing I didn't like about this. It's slightly lighter, but it works really well. It's a little bit lighter, and I do have it in my bedroom. So if you had it in a bigger room, it probably wouldn't be very strong because it's a little bit lighter in the bedroom. And sometimes these MeltCups can be pretty strong in the bedroom, but this one was fairly light. But it's nice. It works really well, though. I kind of wish it was a little bit stronger, but at the same time, it might be a little bit too much if it was stronger, if that makes sense. It's just so nice. It really works well with the strength that it is. I could come into the bedroom. If I was out of the bedroom and walked into it, I could definitely smell it, like when I was in the doorway, and then I would come in, and then sometimes when I was in the room, I wouldn't smell it anymore. I'm like, okay, I can't really smell it anymore. But then I would kind of move over to the other side of the room, and I would get little whiffs of it again. I would go into our bathroom in our bedroom, and I would come back in from the bathroom, and I could smell it. Right when I walked through the doorway, I could smell it right when I got towards the doorway. But then I would kind of lose the scent again. But I would kind of move over here to this part of the bathroom or bedroom and start doing something, and I could smell it again. I kept getting whiffs of it off and on, but it wasn't like a constant, I could smell it all the time. There was times I thought, okay, no, I'm not smelling it again, but then I would smell it again a little bit later. So it's not 100% always there, but it definitely is there, and it's nice too. It's like, you know, it makes you think it's not here, but then it is there. So it's a really pleasant, subtle. Subtle is a really good word for it. It's subtle, but yet it's there and it's nice. It's really pleasant. So next I will talk about how long this scent has lasted. Okay, I think I I first turned it on and started melting it. I think it was about 10 o'clock this morning, and right now it is almost 11:30. It's 11:26 right now. So it's been going for about 13 hours and the scent has diminished quite a bit. I can smell it now that I'm like over here close to doing the review, but when I move further in the room, I can't smell it quite as much. But I do get little whiffs of it every now and then, but just not quite as strong as it was earlier. Even though I said it was subtle earlier, but it was a lot stronger earlier than it was now. So it has diminished quite a bit. but it's still there. It's not completely dead. And this, they say these will last about 24 hours. It just depends on the scent. Some of them I have some that will last for like 2 to 3 days, and I keep mine on most of the time. I keep them on overnight sometimes. I don't really worry about leaving these plugged in when I sleep or when I leave. They don't get really hot. They just get slightly warm. You can pick it up and touch it and not even burn yourself. Now, if you take the MeltCup out and touch the inside of it, it gets hotter, but like the outside doesn't get that hot at all. So I don't really get worried about leaving them plugged in or anything. I'll leave the house and it doesn't bother me to leave them plugged in at all. So it's really nice. But then I've had other scents that have lasted maybe 5 to 6 hours. I just melted my Peeps Marshmallow Chicks the other day, and that one lasted probably 5 hours or so, and then it went away quite quickly. It diminished a lot, and I could barely smell it anymore. It just barely had a little bit of a scent left. So it just kind of depends on the scents. But like I said, right now this one I can smell it pretty well now that I'm a little bit closer to it, but it has diminished quite a bit. And but 13 hours is a fairly good amount of time I think for a wax melt anyway. But I could probably leave this on tomorrow, and I could probably still smell it off and on. It just definitely would be a lot lighter. So I highly recommend the Yankee Candle Scenterpiece with the MeltCups. They are really good. You get fairly good throws with most of the scents, and they are starting to put, I think, a lot more scents in the MeltCups. They didn't have as many at first, but now they're starting to put a lot more out. I think they're starting to get more popular, so they're starting to release more scents. I believe they have most of the new summer scents all out in the MeltCups, which I was kind of surprised. So hopefully they will start releasing more scents. So, all right, I've talked long enough about this. I just wanted to explain all about the MeltCups because I've never done a review on the MeltCups. So I kind of wanted to explain the whole system on how it worked and everything. They do come with timers as well. I don't have a timer with the one I have. It would be kind of nice to have it. Then you could like set it to go off like 2 hours after you would go to sleep. That way it's not using that fragrance while you're asleep, and you're not just wasting that fragrance and while you're not even able to smell it. Or like you can set it to where it'll come on, 2 hours before you come home. That way when you come home you have that scent in your home, because it's always nice. I love to come home and have the scent filling the air when I walk through the door. So that would be a good option to have the timer for. They are a little more expensive with the timer, but I think it would be worth it. I think the cheapest ones are $19.99. This one here I'm showing right now was $19.99 with no timer. And then I think they have some for $24.99, and then I think $29.99, and I think $34.99 if I remember correctly. And yeah, they're just really, really good. I really highly suggest you try them if you've been thinking about it. I don't think you would be disappointed. Oh, and also, when you're done with the scent, when you hardly smell the scent anymore, you can take it and you can either turn off the centerpiece, and then it'll just harden up, and then you can take the wax out, the MeltCup out, or you can just take the MeltCup out while it's still hot. Just be careful not to spill it, and then you can sit it down somewhere. I wouldn't sit on anything like any wood or anything, because it's hot, so it'll damage your surface. I would sit it on like a cloth or something like that, or a paper plate or whatever. And then when it hardens, sometimes they'll pop out real easy. I usually just pop in the freezer, and then you squeeze them and it pops out real easy. So, and then you can keep the cups after the wax has been after you pop the wax out, you keep the cups, and you can put your other wax smells in there as well, like any of the Walmart, Better Homes and Gardens, or Sensationals, or you can put Yankee tarts or votives in there too. Those aren't quite as strong as the Scenterpiece MeltCups are though, but they work in there. And then any other vendor wax you can put in there, it works with anything, so that's a good option too. And then you can just take it out, pop it out, and replace it with another cup. I keep about 7 or 8 extra cups. That way I can just switch them in and out, and I don't have to worry about keeping that same cup. I can just switch it in and out real quick. So that's a really, really huge plus with this as well. So all right, that is my review for Summer Storm from Yankee Candle Centerpiece MeltCup. So thanks for watching, and please comment, thumbs up, and subscribe, and I will talk to you all later. Bye guys.